Hi, it's Robert Mitchell at the 2012 Toronto International Film Festival. We're here at Midnight Madness for the closing film, John Dies at the End. Welcome back to Midnight Madness.
Hello. Yes, I'm excited to be here. It's been 10 long years. It takes me a little while to make my movies, but finally back and probably the best venue to show science fiction and horror in existence, in my humble opinion.
Tell me a bit about the character you're playing in the film.
I'm playing David Wong. It's sort of the author surrogate of the book. I'm sort of a druggy ghostbuster, if you will. I'm sort of tripping out on this extraterrestrial drug, and I'm a reluctant supernatural warrior.
Can you tell me the character you're playing in the film? I believe it's John.
I believe it's John too. Yes, I play the role of John, who's a very eccentric, adrenaline-seeking, cool dude.
So, can you tell me a bit about the character you're playing in John Dies at the End?
Sure. I play Robert Marley, and he's kind of a Rastafarian, mystic, charlatan, interesting character who kind of tells our lead character, one of our lead characters, a little bit of information that just sends the story forward. And it's a lot of fun. Just puts him on a mind trip that kind of goes.
I was reading about how you first discovered this novel, and Amazon bots just sent you a recommendation saying, hey, you should check this out. So you read it. At one point, are you reading this book and you're like, I think this could be a phenomenal movie?
Well, you know, to tell you the truth, I was almost sold from the title, because I think it's one of the most unique titles that there ever been. And when I read the log line that had to do with a street drug called soy sauce that allowed the recipients of it to travel between dimensions, and about an otherworldly invasion, and about a supreme evil in the universe, and then these two slackers, the safety of humanity falling to their shoulders, and whether they could save the world, then they probably cannot. There's a great sense of humor to it, and some pretty freaky, scary stuff also. A lot of good stuff that's right up my kind of street.
I was wondering, what was it like to work with the one of the masters of the genre film, Don Coscarelli?
It was the most freeing experience as an actor I've ever had, just knowing that this person really has a grasp on what they're doing and has been doing it for so long. And he's such a good guy, you know, that I couldn't help but just feel comfortable in myself knowing that he was confident in me, and it was just the greatest gift that I could have as a performer, you know.
What kind of preparation did you do for this role?
Yeah, I'll tell you, I read the script, and it was something so crazy and so different from anything else I had read, and you know, I would have fought like literally to the death for this project, because it was so different, and I felt as though I could lose myself so much in this project, and once I started to hear, you know, who else was in it, and once I had met with Don, and I met Chase, I realized that there are some really powerful minds behind this project. Not to mention David Wong, Jason Pargan. It's a tremendous journey, and it's really quite frightening, and along the way quite hilarious.
And I've been told that Don is an amazing director to work for, and very collaborative. You can bring ideas and things happen.
I am still blown away at what a wonderful guy Don is, and just how easy it is to work with him. It was beyond belief, and I'm ready to do it again tomorrow.
I was reading that when you first spoke to David Wong, he really reminded you of Joe R. Lansdale. Could you elaborate a little bit on that?
Well, he's a brilliant man. In his own unique way, just like Joe is. And, you know, some people might call them a little quirky, some will call them interesting, but all I can say is both of these writers are just super talented and so interesting to meet a talent like David Wong and his ability to tell a story from a very youthful perspective that I think the youth audience could get, and yet with so much originally bizarre, ridiculous, hilarious, and terrifying stuff all wrapped up into one. It's very unique material.
I know you've been getting this question, but you worked with one of the greatest actors working today, Paul Giamatti. Could you elaborate a little bit on what it was like to work with him and what you might have learned from him?
Paul is one of the nicest guys I've ever met, one of the most down-to-earth people I've ever met. It was totally unexpected. I thought he'd be weird, but he's so awesome. I thought he'd be weird because I'd never met famous people before. But he's such a normal, awesome guy. He's super supportive and very comforting, and to act with him, it was just sort of like, it was like being an amateur athlete and then getting a ticket to the Olympics. And I just sat and watched him work, and it was an experience. It was amazing, and hopefully I'll get to keep a relationship with him because he's amazing.
How do you juggle so many tones in a movie, and how difficult is that? And does a lot of that come into the editing?
Oh, absolutely. There's no question. But I think that a big chunk of it is working with the actors, because they're the ones that have to get out there and make it come to life. It's not easy for them, and the process of watching them work with the material, you start to get a feel for which lines are going to work, where we're going too far. And then once in the editorial process, just reviewing and reviewing, it's almost it's the final round of writing, really, is how the editing is, at least on my movies.
What kind of experience awaits an audience who will sit and watch this film?
An absolute journey. It's a journey. And this drug soy sauce doesn't exist, or as far as we know. Maybe it does, I don't know. But I feel like every time I watch the movie, and I've seen it a number of times now, I feel like every time I watch it, I forget what's coming next, and I get lost in it. And I really hope that our viewers do too, because that's the effect and the power that it has on me, and I hope that they share that as well. What
kind of experience can an audience have with this film?
Well, I'd like to think it'd be a very good time. There's some interesting aspects involved with these alien pharmaceuticals. Some people have said it might be the great drug movie of the decade. I don't know. I'll leave that to the audience to say, but certainly it works. I like to think it's going to work on people who are under the influence and not under the influence. So it's good fun and good horror and scares. So we'll see. Tonight will be a good test, because it's the first time I've seen this version with an audience and 1,200 people. It'll be amazing.